They are dead to me. Dead. As you can tell by the title, FLSun is dead to me. Amidst false claims, bots. Seriously, now we're hiring bots to make favorable comments for the S1 and the multitude of problems, trying to cover up the false claims of FLSun. Seriously? Really, guys? That's what we're doing? Yeah. I had such high hopes for FLSun, and I'm just at a loss of words because of this. Now, for those of you who don't know, FLSun is a 3D printing company that deals with Delta-style printers, and here is their website, and so you can actually take a look. That's what a Delta-style printer looks like. It has 3 arms. And what it ends up doing is that it has filament that goes through and melts it, kind of like a plastic thread goes through a machine. It melts it and does the layers. Look it up. It's a thing. Well, FLSun has come out with the S1. As we can see, it's about $1,500. Speed demon galore. And it claimed to have 1,200 millimeters per second for a max speed, 40,000 millimeters per second squared for acceleration, large build area, 320 by 430. You read through and look at this information, and you're just like, wow, max flow rate 110, just, auto leveling, the whole 9 yards, CPAP, cooling. It's consumable. It talks about chamber temperature up to 50 Celsius, and yeah, there's a lot of problems with this because a number of people have done reviews on FLSun, and kind of like this guy here, YGK3D, and he actually did tests to find out to see, is it really going to go 1,200? Is it really going to have a flow rate of 110? Is it really... yeah, and he found out that there were some serious problems because basically you can ask, in the programming world, you can ask the computer to print, at 1,200 millimeters squared for printing, but doesn't mean that you will actually get that as an end product. And this guy went through and actually highlighted some of these problems. There was another gentleman that did bare bones, honest, hardcore, in-depth review, kind of like this guy here, and found out that, yeah, there's some problems. There's some problems. There's some exaggerated claims when it comes to the FLSun S1, and they're going to have probably more problems with the subsequent T1 that's going to be released for, I think, $499. Yeah, there was a number of problems. This guy ended up, Cloth 42. He does some excellent reviews, and he got the S1. He ended up doing reviews. He does some very, very in-depth reviews, and unfortunately, what we end up seeing with his videos mimics the same thing that we saw with the previous gentleman and other people that are experiencing problems with the S1. Now, the hardware-wise, FLSun has got everything down pat. It is a tank. It is a great piece of hardware. What we're seeing is on the software side of the house, and I've mentioned this before, they're lacking on the software side. And I was hoping that they would get their collective shit together with the FLSun S1 based off all of their other printers. So for those of you who are kind of wondering, they do have some other printers, and yeah, I just want to go to the store. Just go to the store. Okay. So they have the S1, the T1, which is going to be released. They also have the B400, the Super Racer. So they have been in the market for a while. And it's not like their first foray into the 3D printing world. I mean, you can just look up and see these have been around for a while, but they just didn't get the momentum. And I think part of that is because when they were a new company, what they ended up doing is making some claims, and their software side was lacking. And we're seeing a continued theme of that, of these are just, they're just not catching up. They want to have their own slicer, and it's like, no, screw that. Just take Orca, take the money that you would have used making your proprietary, your own little slicer. I know everybody's real happy about that and wants that, but put that money towards the software side of the house, because we're seeing a lot of problems with the S1, and it's got a little fire thing. Yeah, it's not fire. It's ending up. It's looking to be a dumpster fire, based off of reviews of people where FLSun sent them the machine to review, and they did tests. And I think what they were hoping is that, yeah, these people will do some great reviews. They've got, this guy has 17,000 subscribers. This guy's got 144,000 subscribers. There's other people that are, they saw the numbers and they're like, oh, they're trusted people on the interwebs, and we'll send them one and they'll give us a review. And we can always go back to that, well, it's new and innovative, what we're doing. And it's like, no, not really, because you've been putting out Delta style printers for quite some time, and yet we still see this continued theme of problems on the software side. So yeah, it's very problematic. And the things like the flow rate, let's see, pros and cons of Delta. Build height is not as advertised, so we get that.
And we're back in third quarter
No, I don't want that. YouTube commercials. But the build height isn't exactly as they claim on their website, so that's very problematic, because they kind of got this cylinder and then it goes up and peaks. But really, that's more of what you're going to get right there. You're not going to get the full 430. You're going to get this kind of weird thing, just based off of the mechanics of how a Delta style printer works anyway. Then we continue on, dry box, camera time lapse, okay, whatever. LiDAR calibrations, they seem to have problems. Clipper firmware complications. It's kind of a stripped down version of Clipper, which is kind of like an operating system for a computer. Full Clipper gives people that are really geeky and computer savvy the ability to change and monitor and do everything that they want. They can fine tune this thing to a frog's hair. But it's not really. There's problems where you can't make changes where normal Clipper machines you would be able to. So yeah, there are claims on being, Clipper, we do Clipper, and everybody loves Clipper who's in that world. They're finding out that it's not really full Clipper. It's kind of like Bud Light Clipper. Yeah, that's kind of where it comes down to. Bed leveling, first layer issues, input shaping, they don't have access. CPAP cooling is crazy loud. And that's to be expected, because when you're using a CPAP that goes 40,000 millimeters per second pushing air, that is crazy. It does print fast, but the problems of what these people were showing was that it's just not working out well. The validation marketing claims for flow rate, this guy found out that, yeah, this isn't something. It ends up failing, and at the, for the flow rate, it fails at the speed. And, again, if you're looking for a speed racing or a speed benchy test, and that's all you're concerned about, you're not concerned about putting, they do the video on the speed. Yeah, it does go faster than the Bamboo X1C, but as we see here, we're getting problems with getting the proper speed and getting it up to speed. And again, it goes back to this whole thing of requested speed and the speed you actually get are two entirely different things. So yeah, it ends up, it's kind of problematic. And validating marketing claims, yeah, that's the hot end in the flow. You can this is where he's talking about where you can request the speed, and you'll get different speeds during different times during the print, because you're doing circles or long pulls. But yeah, it's just not, it's not living up to the advertised claims, which is really disheartening. So yeah, and the other thing that he found is that with certain products certain models that he printed, that the Bamboo X1C with the same material was definitely stronger than the part printed on the FLSun S1, and max acceleration, just going over some problems and things like that. Yeah, maintenance spare parts, hard to take apart. The hot end assembly, the extruder, profiles need to be worked on, and basically it, it the profile and software side of the house is really lacking. It's kind of like they hurried up and they just got somebody who kind of knew a little bit of what's going on, but it just ends up failing when these guys do these tests. Going back over to Clough 42 and his tests, he printed some stuff. There were some problems. Bamboo, he kind of compared that. And he actually ends up saying, "Is this printer for you?" It depends on what you want to do. It could be. The Bamboo X1C could be for you, or another printer could be for you. It depends on what you want in a printer. And if you want something that prints a 8-minute benchy, then yeah, probably this machine is for you. And you don't care about how loud it is. You don't care about the lack, some dimensional accuracies. Maybe that's problematic. You don't care if there's high-speed quality prints on this compared to the Bamboo X1Cs, which these people ran into. And then the thing that really knocked me out of the park with this was when he comes in and he says, "Really, FLSun bot comments?" So he goes through some comments, and these comments are like within the span of 6 minutes, boom, he gets all of these comments. Companies that dare to try to break through deserve our praise. I hope that FLSun's lead, Bamboo, can launch a fast printer. FLSun is going through the necessary process of an innovative product which may have some shortcomings in the early stages. I believe they can solve these problems. And it kind of goes on to, when evaluating FLSun products, we should recognize any innovative product may face some challenges in the early stages. And so what he ends up talking about is that during the life of a video, usually you get a lot of comments in the beginning, but then after the video has been out for a while, the comments die down. And statistically, according to him, it's really unusual to get a block of comments in such a short period of time. And he checked up on these, and then later on, all of a sudden, all the comments are gone. So that's interesting. And he says he doesn't know whether YouTube took those comments down because they were bot comments, or whoever posted them took those comments down, which now seems even more questionable and suspect in the fact that now that all those comments are gone, so it's a good thing he did screenshots. Yeah, I'm just not getting I'm not getting the warm fuzzy about FLSun and their printer. And again, talking about the max speed doesn't live up to the advertised claims. The acceleration, the build volume it's not truly represented as graphically represented. It kind of gives this cylinder, and then it kind of goes up into a cone like a silo. But actually, that's not the actual shape. And through the testing that these people ended up doing, is that the height is not 430 for usable print, but more like 385 is going to be your max, and to have the top. Now, if you're doing the Leaning Tower of Pisa, or I don't know, what's that thing in France? Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower, then you could do that. But anything outside of that goes up, maybe a rocket ship, you could do stuff like that. But really, it's blurring the lines between advertised claims and workable claims and realistic claims and flow rate. The guy talked about the flow rate of FLSun being the flow rate of 110, which is insane, and found out that, yeah, it's not. It's as a daily driver and being tested, it's not 110. So with all of this in mind, being too loud, the slicer is bad, the profiles are bad, flow rate, reduced build volume isn't the build volume. And actually look down here and you can actually see that conical shape. And they did have some pictures on here of what it looked like for, maybe I can pull that up. Yeah, it doesn't even have them on here anymore, which is kind of weird, because if you end up having and showing the build volume as a cone, and then it kind of tapers up. Let's see if they put it in here. But all of a sudden, all of those pictures disappeared. And it's like, yeah, they don't even have it on the video. So, yeah, it just seems to be very problematic in what we're seeing with FLSun, the S1, and the problems. Now, people are getting good prints, but when it gets down to dimensional accuracy, when it gets down to the advertised claims, and now that the fact that there's possible bots, and going over some of these other videos of other reviewers, you get kind of the same comments. The same, oh, it's an innovative, this company is pushing the bounds of technology, and so, this is bound to happen, and they'll fix it later when it's not like they're a brand new company. They have been out for a while. Let's see, when did the V400 come out? And V400 is Delta style printer. When did the FLSun V400 come out? It was in September. V400 isn't shipped out to public yet, but if you order one now, it says it will ship by September 2022. So that's when it was released, was in 2022. But obviously they had to build the machine, they had to test the machine. So yeah, it's definitely something that's been out for a while. But even back with the V400, they had problems with it. Now, All 3DP is a pretty good page, and high-speed printing, Clipper and Mainsail are great user experiences, but now we're finding out that there's questionable with Clipper, exceptional levels of detail for FDM. That seems to be questionable, because we're getting people that get real good prints, and then we're getting people that are like, yeah, I print out the exact same part on a Bamboo versus S1, and you notice there's a huge noticeable difference in some parts. Disappointing adhesion, high temperature material, heat beds, magnetic, soft tile layer prone to damage with rated temperatures, no power loss recovery. Yeah, so they've been out for a while. I would say 2020, 2021, is when they came out, and obviously they had to make the product beforehand and do research and all of that. So it's not, and it's really glaring, because the other reviews say it's innovative. Other comments say, oh, they're pushing the boundaries, like the other comments that Cloth 42 ended up mentioning. And you see, and I went to around other videos, and I saw very similar comments. And from people that they have a YouTube page, but they new-ish, or they don't have any subscribers. A lot of them don't have subscribers or any content whatsoever. And it's just very odd versus somebody who is an actual real person and their YouTube page. You'll see a lot of different comments, because people watch different videos and they have different interests in life, and so you can see, and that's not what we're seeing with some of the comments for the FLSun S1. So officially, I'm going to be writing FLSun S1 and the T1 that is going to be coming out soon off of my list, because they've been having software problems for a while, and other people have pointed out, like the V400 had thermal runaway was turned off, and so on and so forth. There was other problems saying it was Clipper. Yes, it was Clipper, but it was kind of like Clipper, Bud Light Clipper, and we all know how that debacle turned out. So yeah, I think they're not focusing on the important things, and if they had focused the importance is on the software integrating with the hardware and the profiles and all of that stuff. And it's okay to not have 110 flow rate. It's okay to not have 1200 millimeters squared of print speed. you're going to be faster than the Bamboo X1C, but rather you should probably ratchet it down a little bit to give you some wiggle room, because obviously you set it too high and you have no wiggle room. People tried to reproduce the tests that FLSun did, and they didn't get the flow rate. They didn't get the speed that FLSun said, hey, here's the part that we used to test the speed and the flow rate. And people were showing, yeah, that's not what we're getting. That's not what I got. And there's enough of those to where it's like, that's kind of very problematic. So yeah, FLSun is going to be dead to me. I just don't think they're going to be able to recover. And when you get to the point of where there's questionable comments, and all of a sudden people highlight these comments, and all of a sudden those comments disappear magically, whether it's from YouTube, who, let's say, the options are mysterious comments supporting the S1 and their innovative technology, and this is bound to happen. I hope they work through their problems, blah, 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 spiel. All of those comments get deleted by YouTube because of why? Because of bots. Or somebody deleted them because somebody found out that they were bots and they deleted them to delete the evidence. Either way, and now and then the other option is those were actually real people. They left the comment and then they're like, yeah, I changed my mind. Yeah, they're not really an innovative company that is pushing the boundaries of technology. I'm going to delete my comment. I didn't have my bipolar meds. I'm a little off, and so I wrote stuff that I didn't actually mean. So I'm going to go through and delete all the comments. And all of those comments are supposedly from different people, suddenly disappear at around the exact same time. Yeah, that's just too weird. That is just way too weird for me. And again, am I going to be doing tests with 1,200 meters per second? No, I'm not going to do that. But I want something that prints faster than maybe a Bamboo X1C and still has awesome quality and dimensional accuracy. But a lot of people are not getting that. Now, maybe this would be good it could be good for some people. But I just don't have a warm fuzzy about this. And then there's the maintenance side of the house. So the maintenance side of the house is another thing that bothered me with the FLSun, in the fact that maintenance. So somebody had some problems with the FLSun S1, and they ended up having to take apart the head, the hot end, the machine where the filament goes in, melts it and pushes it out and squirts it, kind of like, and does the layer thing. Had to go through and do some changes because it was defective. And he said that getting into the thing and changing stuff out was absolutely a nightmare. So again, there's the maintenance side of the house that you need to look at. If it prints fast and it prints good, but you can't get replacement parts, or it's a pain in the ass to actually do it and it's very questionable, yeah, that's another area in which companies in like Bamboo and Prusa and things like that have learned, like morons, where they have learned that, okay, this is a pain in the ass to take and replace the nozzle, the hot end, the extruder, whatever it is, the fan, the pieces that can break. Let's re-engineer this, or let's engineer this so it's user-friendly, hot swappable, quick swapping, whatever you want to call it, and they have done that to their benefit. Unfortunately, what we see with FLSun is they're not going that route. They're hyper-focused on speed and not on maintenance, not on profiles, not on dimensional accuracy, not on full clipper, this results, they're kind of so focused on putting out a let's be faster than company A, B, or C, they flew too high to the sun. And like in the story of Greek mythology, it's going to cause problems, and it's already causing problems. So yeah, when people see that they're not going to get this, and they're not going to get the advertised claims, and it's a bear to work on, and yeah, it's just like, if I had the choice, yeah, does it print faster? Yes, it does, than the Bamboo X1C and Prusa and stuff like that, but it's not, Some people get good prints, some people don't. So there's not a consistency within the product itself. And again, with all the problems with the software side and not, yeah, it's just not good. So anyway, I could belabor this even more, but FLSun is going to be dead to me. I'm crossing it off the list as far as a larger build area printer, which actually, in reality, it's not much that bigger than the Bamboo X1C. A little bit higher, you know, because you got 256 cubed with the Bamboo X1C, and this one is like, you know, 320 by 385 as a workable. So that is bigger. But as far as the consistency of printing out parts, I just don't see it. What I do see is a number of people who have print farms with Prusa, with the Mark III, the Mark IVs, and their other, you know, their XLs, even though they had a lot of ups and downs with the XLs, but they are slow. Bamboo, you know, their P1P, P1S, and their X1C carbon and all of that, they have gone consistently, they're consistently consistent, and they improve over time to make things better. And unfortunately, I think what we see too much with FLSun is that they're like, okay, well, oh, we're adding AI, we're adding this and that. And really, when you get down to it and you kind of go away from all of the hype that they've put out and you really get to the bare bones testing, it kind of reminds me of very questionable practices. It's like a shade tree mechanic. You know, you take your car to a shade tree mechanic, kind of a squirrely guy, and oh, I can do that for you cheaper. And it's like, yeah, I got this working for you, you know, and it works. But when you take your car to a very good mechanic with diagnostic testing equipment and the whole 9 yards, and you know the reader that you plug into your car, and you can actually find out the codes of what's wrong and where and all that stuff, that's kind of the difference that I see between FLSun S1 and somebody like Prusa or Bamboo or the Vorons, or you know, even some other companies that aren't as well known as those are doing better with the integration of the hardware and the software than what we see with the S1. And the advertised claims, oh, that bugs me. The advertised claims just kind of ruins it for me. And especially when the one guy, what was the guy's name? The YGK3D, when he did his, is that you can request certain speed, but it doesn't mean you'll get that speed in your actual print, and he actually pointed that out. So yeah, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, you know. It's kind of like, you know, you go on a date with a girl, she's all beautiful, and then the makeup comes off, and you're like, ugh, you know, whoa, Nelly, let's put the horse back in the barn. And the reason that I'm talking about this is I want to buy a printer, and I want to buy a printer once. I want to buy a large-scale printer, and I want this printer to go fast, but I want that balance of quality and speed. And I want consistency in prints. And if I want to go fast, yes, but it won't be such a drastic change within the quality. You know, I'll have a band of excellence that I can operate in that is a wide band. Whether it's slow and going up to faster speeds, I can have a slow increase in quality or decrease in quality. It's not going to be abrupt. And unfortunately, I just don't see the consistency with FLSun and their S1. I was tempted to contact FLSun. As a matter of fact, somebody contacted me about FLSun and said, hey, would you do a review? And matter of fact, this is going to be very interesting. Let me see if I can see this. So this person here, let me see if I can. Okay, so this is kind of interesting because I was approached by a person here, Jin Chen, who left a post, who lives in Wuhan, Zhejiang, China. I know I'm murdering that. But it ends up that this person left a post that said, hey, if you want to review the FLSun S1, contact me. And so I sent him a message. I said, I saw your post. I got 50,000 subs. Here's my page. I live in Korea. Look forward to hearing from you. Said, we need reviews. Can you make a review on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook? And I can do that, unboxing. I can do a printing one, and on those social media apps. Okay, that's fine. It's free for a review, which is normally what they do. We can send it to your address if you're able to give us the review. You only have to pay for shipping costs for confirm your order. I said, that's odd. In the past, other companies have never had to pay for shipping. I've never had to pay for shipping. And this comes back to when I used to do gun and gear reviews. They would send me the product, they would ship it to me. A couple times I had to ship the product back. Other times they'd just say, hey, it's yours. But I always said that I would be 100% honest in my reviews. And a lot of companies that contacted me. So in other words, if the product lived up to its advertised claims, I would let people know. If it failed, I would highlight those things as well, to be honest. And a lot of companies, I never heard from them again. So this is interesting. I said, that's odd. In the past, I've never had, where will it ship from? And this guy ends up saying, here, EU warehouse. That's odd because FLSun is based in Shenzhen or Shenzhen. How do you want to pay for shipping costs for confirm your order? And I'm like, why the EU? I told him I was in Korea, and from what I understand, Creality is based in Shenzhen, China. All products from main warehouse in China. We ship for your convenience, and we ship from our convenience. That sounds odd. Then I ended up saying, let me contact Creality rep and no, I'll send them your profile on Facebook and get it verified, then I'll get back with you. Okay, then hello. And then I ended up said, send message to Creality rep to verify, we'll get back with you after they respond. And what I ended up doing is going through and contacting Creality support. So they're asking about it. I was contacted by this person. I gave them the picture and all of this, and they said they'll check. Said the printer would ship from an EU warehouse, but I live in Korea, so it makes sense to ship from China. Need to verify this because of the time difference. They have already left for work. Please do not pay yet. Worried it's a scam. What are the odds? Kind of. The gut feeling that I had, it was like, yeah, I kind of got the same thing too. No problem, I will wait, thank you. And I sent my email and stuff like that, and waiting on this. So it should be kind of interesting. Of course, it's Sunday here in Korea, so I'll probably get something back at another date. So, but I have gotten that before. One other time before, same exact thing, but just a different profile, and the English grammar was a little bit better than before. So there are scammers out there, and there's a number of people who have put out that they have been scammed because you pay for the shipping fee to get the free product, and next thing you know, boom, nothing. They disappear, their page goes away, and obviously you got conned out of your money. So, not saying that that's FLSun, but I just find it very problematic that we see false claims being made, we see bots, it's just all highly sus, as the young folks would say, suspicious. It's sus. And I if it walks like a duck, it talks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. And the gut feeling that I have with FLSun, I had such high hopes. And unfortunately, because my idea was if it lives up to the claims, get that and an aftermarket, multi-material system combined with the S1 or the T1, and you've got something that prints faster with that same quality as a Bamboo X1C, that would be a no-brainer. But now we're finding out as people get under the hood of the S1 that we're finding that there's a lot of questionable stuff under the hood. And now with the bots and all this stuff, it's just like, you know what, if you resort to bots, because somebody has to pay a bot farm to do that. It's just not like bots randomly just kind of decide, hey, I'm going to leave some favorable comments on the FLSun S1 videos that on reviews, especially reviews that have gotten questionable or present the pros and the cons and very problematic issues with the S1. They just don't decide on their own to do that. Somebody is behind the trigger of that and pulling the trigger, some human, and programming this into the bots and how they leave comments and promoting or demoting products or people or whatever, and minimizing the flack of trying to take away from the seriousness of some of these problems, saying, "Oh, well, it's an innovative company. Oh, it's you expect some bumps down the road." Pushing the edge of technology, and it's like, no, you've been doing that for a while, since at least 2020. I'm imagining. So it's not like you're a brand new company. You've had a couple of other Delta style printers, and this is just, I just don't get a good feeling with this. So I'm officially crossing off FLSun from my list of possible printers to get. So there's that. The K2 Plus from Creality, not really keen on them. I had hopes for them as well, but with their false advertising on the K1C, which said an all-metal hot-end extruder, when it ends up it's mostly all plastic, and their claim that it was 1,000 clog-free hours, well, now that it's found out that their own reviewers, whom they send machines to, ends up that now it's all plastic, is it still 1,000 clog-free hours? And then with no word, no nothing, and then it just kind of mysteriously disappeared on their webpage about an all-metal extruder. But you can still find that exact same wording and pictures on the Creality Amazon page that is still pumping out, excuse me, pumping out and trying to sell those products. Yeah, that just doesn't fill me with joy either. Kind of that Marie Kondo, if it doesn't bring you joy, throw it away. So yeah, I'm not thrilled with Creality, and looking back on Creality's past problems, it seems they're kind of in the same, they must live in the same area, or there must be something in the water, because they're kind of acting similar to what FLSun is, and it just kind of bothers me. And the fact that, when the Creality K2 Plus and the guy was doing the video, which seems like a nice guy, but when he says, "Oh, this is the poop chute," and oh, blah, and then there's blatant lies about the poop chute, which is the world's smallest poop chute on there, and saying, "Oh, well, that's just a prototype," and it's like, well, wait a second, it's like you couldn't even fit a coffee can into that thing, maybe, and it was like that, and it's like, if you know anything about multi-material printing and the amount of poop that comes out of a machine, that's going to fill up in minutes, depending on the print you can do. So I'm not even going to go into that again. It's just, and not setting their printer up for success, like the K2 Plus. It's like, here's the poop chute, here's where the fan is for the exhaust, and it's like, well, why don't you have some holes, screw holes in there, so that you can put and print out a mount to have air ducts to go outside. And it's, no. I mean, think about it from a user perspective. And I think that's part of the problem with some of these companies, is that they're not thinking about providing a good product. They're not listening to customers who have excellent ideas. Mine's just kind of a common sense idea that would be another benefit on the checklist of saying, hey, that makes sense. That is a great idea. They're not doing that. They're pumping out a machine that has a large print volume, and that's what they're hoping that's what it's going to be. But with their past experience of lying to customers, and then when they get caught lying and then not doing anything, just hoping it'll all go away, they basically ghost everybody. That is very problematic. I would rather a company come out and say, you know what, hey, I know we advertised an all-metal extruder. It was our fault. We shouldn't have done that. Blah blah blah. Be honest about it. And then actually, what you could probably end up doing is saying, hey, we're going to make an all-metal extruder parts, and we will give you a $25, $50 discount off of it if you purchase one of our machines, so that you actually can have an all-metal extruder. I mean, that would be awesome. And you would be able to sell those. You could make it right with your existing customers, but then going forward, future customers could have the opportunity to use the mostly plastic extruder, or you could buy an upgrade kit that has the all metal parts. That makes sense. But no, they didn't do that. So yeah, waddling through the 3D market, and it's amazing. I've had companies, small companies, contact me saying, "Hey, we want to do a collab." I get like 10 or 15 of these a month. A lot of them are for products that I don't even use, so I just automatically say, "Yeah, I'm not into cooking, I'm not into fashion or this or that. I'm not going to do." And they all claim to have watched my channel. So again, it's just bots. Farming for hoping that somebody will say, "Yeah, I'll take a free product and I'll do a good review. I keep the product, you get the review." Their rankings go higher on Amazon. Yeah, I don't do that. But I've had 3 FDM companies who have smaller entry level machines that are saying, "Hey, we'll send you the machine and blah, blah, blah. Here's the link." And, it's like, the reviews are dismal. And it's like, ask some questions. And I don't get answers back. That is what's really interesting. And there was one that I responded and said, "Yeah, I'll do the review." But I also let them know that I'll be honest in my review. And if it lives up to the advertised claims, then awesome, I'll let people know. If it doesn't live up to the advertised claims, and going through testing as a new person and how easy it is to set up and print and so on and so forth, just doing basic prints. We're not talking about, some fantastical, prints. We're just talking Barney basic stuff. Benchy, some overhang tests and whatever, basic tests. And when I say that I'll do an honest review, those companies have not written me back as of this point. So go figure. There's probably a lot of companies out there. A lot of companies that just want to sell product but don't want to make innovations and make better products. And that's where I draw the line. So questionable practices from people on the interwebs and companies in 3D printing, and they want to get their cheese. It's all about the cheese and the coin. Get the coin and get it now, and then we'll put out another product that makes it a little bit better with a little few bells and whistles, but we're not going to address the main concerns. And it's just a rehash. It's kind of like, reheating last night's dinner. It's just, after so many days, it just doesn't leave a good taste in your mouth. And then adding on the questionable comments, supportive comments, "Oh, they're wonderful, it's great." It's like, and you taste the food and you're like, I'm never going back there. Never. So that's it. So in the comment section down below, put what you think about this and watch those videos and I'll leave the links for those 2 guys. And that, let me see, where's that one? Yeah. With the FLSun, and tell me what you think. And, is that something, is it people that go into such in-depth testing of this thing and they find these claims as being false, is that a deal killer for you? Or is it like, I don't, I'm not going to be printing a 1200 anyway. I just want something a little bit faster than bamboo. Is that the deal killer or not? Or, what do you think on that subject? So with that, I'm got to get something to eat because I am starving. So we will see you on the next video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Peace. Yeah, they're dead to me.